Howdy folks, this is the review and walkthrough of the Ambient Weather Observer solar-powered wireless Wi-Fi weather station. The model of this one is WS1000 Wi-Fi. And the purpose of this weather station, unlike the one that I have now, is that it will actually automatically, via Wi-Fi, supposed to go ahead and transmit the data to Weather Underground, and then you can get your weather data remotely. Currently I have the WS2090 version of the Ambient Weather Station, and the problem with this one, even though it works great, is that my computer has to be on 24/7 in order to transmit the data from the console, which is again connected 24/7 to the computer, and the computer is on 24/7 and transmits the data to Weather Underground. So hopefully with the replacement unit that I have, I should be able to avoid from keeping my computer on and just have the data available in the console and then transmit the data via Wi-Fi. Alright, let's take a look and see what's included here in the box. Alright, so in this unit what we have here is the display console. We will also have the hydrometer barometer transmitter, which is this unit. We will have the mounting bracket, in this case it's already attached. And we will have, of course, the sensor array. We'll have the wind vane, which I assume we'll have to attach here in just a second to the unit. And of course, we will also have, and I'm using the manual, so of course you guys will get the manual, but I'm using this right now in order to make sure my terminology is correct. You'll have the 5-volt VC adapter, or DC adapter. You'll have the pole, which you'll have two of those. One of them is going to be straight, and then the other one is going to be crumpled. You'll have the pole mounting U-bolts in order to mount the pole to the mounting station or pole that you're going to be using. And you'll have an Allen wrench. Looks like it has 3 screws in this packet as well. And then, like I said, the user manual, which I'm using right now. Alright, let's go ahead and get it set up. Install the wind vane to the array here. And we'll use the Allen wrench to tighten it down. Alright, so this part is done. Now we'll go ahead and attach our mounting pole to the unit. And from the manual, it looks like we need to remove this bracket here, like a plastic bracket. And the way they have it, so I assume we'll use both of the poles. One of them is crumpled, the other one is not, but it looks like, because they don't fit into each other, even though I thought they should. So basically, it looks like those notches here need to correspond to the notches that are inside the unit. And that's how we'll see to and make sure that it stays in place. There we go. Now it does not move. And then this plastic bracket goes in here. And then we need to tighten down by turning it clockwise. So I think we're good. The unit comes with 3 rechargeable alkaline batteries. They're rated for 1.5 volts each. And we'll be installing them into this compartment right here. Once the batteries have been installed, according to the manual, the LED indicator on the bottom of the sensor array will turn on for 4 seconds and then normally flash once per 16 seconds. That's the transmission update period, and it is located right here. So after I started the batteries, I wasn't paying attention for the first 4 seconds. However, we do see that it is blinking every 16 seconds, and yeah, there it is. The other item I will mention really quick is that there is a sticker here. Do not remove it. When I got the station here about an hour ago, I wasn't sure if I should remove it or not, so I sent them an email asking about the sticker, and if it's okay, or if we should do anything with it. And I got a reply here a few minutes ago, actually, before starting taping or filming this, and they said basically they have a reset, some sort of a button below, and that's the purpose of the sticker, is not to utilize it now, but I guess if there is any to reset the station at some point, then we can go ahead and remove it. All right, we got the new weather station up, and a winter storm with some snow coming down. I initially wanted to set up the two stations side by side for reading comparison, but I was not able to do so without spending too much extra on hardware. So I ended up just mounting this station, and it's finally up and running. Okay, since the outdoor unit is up and running, now we can focus on the console and then the indoor temperature, barometer, and the humidity reading. I'm just booting the console for your benefit of showing you the process. However, it has already been set up. And what you do want to do is to make sure that you put in the batteries into the indoor sensor first before actually turning up the console. This way, when the console is turning on, it should already read the outdoor information as well as the indoor sensor. And I'm only booting this for your benefit so you can see the boot up process for the Ambient Weather WS1000 Wi-Fi unit. At the moment, I'm actually keeping the indoor sensor close to the console, and then eventually I'll find another good spot for it and have that mounted, because in the back of the unit you can actually mount the bracket to any location on the wall. Alright, so you can see here the console. It has boot up, and then now it also gives us the outdoor and the indoor readings. So here's the view of the console up close. In the upper left-hand section of the screen, you will see that it will actually show you a chart, and you can actually control what it displays on this chart. Right now I have it set to display the barometer information, but you can also control that and change that to display the indoor and outdoor temperature, as well as the indoor or outdoor humidity. You can also choose the time period in terms of for how back you want the data to be displayed within the settings menu, and I believe you can choose 12, 24, 48, and also the 72-hour history information to be displayed on the graph. Below that is the information for the solar radiation. Given the current time of day, there is no solar radiation at the moment, so that's why we're not having any readings. Below that is the barometer information. If you're selecting the relative barometer information, you actually have to go ahead and manually set the current setting from the calibration section within the menu. Moving on to the right, it is the rainfall information. Mine is currently set for daily rain data. However, you can go ahead and change that between weekly rain, monthly, yearly, rain rate, or back to daily rain. Going back to the upper section here, it will display the wind data and give us the direction, and then to the right it will actually display the current wind speed and then the wind gusts right below that. So the current wind speed is 0.2 miles per hour, and then the wind gusts are 2.5 miles per hour, and then the data below that, it is going to be the wind chill. Moving on down, you will see that there are actually going to be two items displayed here, and it is actually going to display whether or not you're connected to the Wi-Fi. That is the green bars that you see right here. And then to the left, it is actually going to be the data whether or not this console is transmitting to a weather underground. And since that is the case, that's why both of the icons are on, because I have already set them up. If you do not have it set up, then obviously those icons will not show up. Moving on down, the next item here is the indoor reading from the sensor and the humidity. And again, it's reading it from the indoor sensor here, and the humidity. But as you can see, with all the lights on in the room, it is actually getting very nice and warm here, because the number below, the indoor number, is the outdoor temperature, and it is 15.6 Fahrenheit right now with 81% humidity, and that's because it is snowing. And then the last number on the bottom here, it is actually going to be the dew point. Let's do a quick overview of the buttons that are available here on the console. I will add that those buttons will change functions once you are into some of the menus, but from the general perspective and by default from the main screen, this button here will go ahead and increase the brightness of the screen. The next one here will go ahead and decrease the brightness of the screen, and then the third button here will actually allow you to turn off the screen or turn on the screen if you need to do so. I will later show you an option within the menu system where you can program the screen to go off or on at a specific time. The next button here is going to be the charts or graphs button, and this is where you can change what type of information is displayed on the console. The next item here is going to be the barometer, which you can change whether you want the relative or the absolute reading. And then the following button right here is going to be the rainfall information, where again you can change the time period for the rainfall. And then the history reading button is right here, where you can enter the history screen, and then you can get the maximum lows, highs, and then review the periodic history records that are in the computer's data log. And finally, this button right here, it is going to be the menu for the setup of the control console, where you can configure settings as well as many other options. So here's a quick look at the setup screen, where you can control and set up the date and time, and also control a time server. So if this unit has been set up with Wi-Fi access, then you can actually designate a time server to get the data from in the console. You can also designate different units to be displayed within the console. They're generally self-explanatory, so we'll go ahead and move forward. One thing I will show you is that for the backlight setup, you do have a capability which I really do like, and it is to set the unit, which is this console, to be turned, the display to be turned on and off at a specific time. And I kind of find it helpful, so that, you know, in this case right now I have it set for 10:42 p.m. The console can go off when I don't actually need to use it, and then right now it is set to turn on at 7 a.m. for example. It also has the capability to do automatic brightness adjustment. Currently I have that to be set off because, as I said earlier, I'm actually have it set up to be about medium in terms of brightness, and it seems to work just fine. If you continue going through the menu setup, the next item here is going to be the alarm setup. So if you want the console to alert you if any of the conditions that you set on the screen becomes true, it will actually go ahead and start beeping, alerting you that the alarm is on. And then the next item on the menu setup here is the calibration screen, where you can actually calibrate and set up the console if you need to make any adjustments. The main one that you do need to do is, if you have your barometer set to relative reading, you actually need to go to this unit here and then adjust the reading based on the current information that you have. And normally you'll go from the airport weather station or the closest correct relative barometer reading. I shall add that even though you have set this up to relative, the actual unit here, I know it's kind of hard to see, let me move the light a little bit. So the actual unit here, it will still give you the absolute reading, and I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that or adjust that or not. So in my case, the absolute reading doesn't do me any good, simply because of my elevation, which is why I have set my barometer reading to the relative values, adjusted for elevation. All right, moving forward. So the next item here is going to be the factory screen. And basically here you can register or re-register the transmitters. You can also clear the history and clear the minimum maximum values. You can also reset the unit to factory defaults. You can back up the data, and you have the ability to choose from several languages. The only recommendation I'll make on this screen is, once you have everything set up, I went ahead and cleared my maximum minimum values as well as the clear history, as through the setup process the readings were just incorrect. So when I was setting up the outdoor unit, or even if I was working with the indoor unit, I did throw off some of the data and information. So it will have data that were not correct. So in this case, I actually went ahead and reset it, and I need to go ahead and do it again since I'm still kind of playing with the unit. But that is basically the setup menu. I did find the setup of the Wi-Fi as well as the Weather Underground setup to be fairly simple. With the Wi-Fi, it will scan the networks that are within the area, and then once you choose your own network, it lets you put in the password, and then it will connect to Wi-Fi, so that wasn't an issue. And then for the weather server setup, it was as simple as going to Weather Underground and just inputting your weather station ID that you got from Weather Underground, and then the password for your Weather Underground account. And that was all that needs to be done. So what I want to show you here is that on the right, you're just looking at the laptop here, and I have Weather Underground pulled up. And on the left, of course, is the Ambient Weather console. And one really cool thing that I find is that as soon as the console gets an update, within 1 or 2 seconds, you can actually see the updated information live on Weather Underground. So it just works so nice, so cool, as you can see right now. See, the wind information changed, and then like 1-2 seconds later, it'll go ahead and update the Weather Underground. So just seeing how live and how quickly it updates it is actually really cool. As you can see, just the wind indicator changed, and then of course the Weather Underground changed as well. So it is just really cool to see and compare how quickly the data is truly being updated. And when you're away from home and you want to take a look at the changes in the data, well, there you go, just pull up Weather Underground and you can look at it live. Well guys, that's all that I have for this video walkthrough of the Ambient Weather WS1000 Wi-Fi. Hopefully you enjoyed this video walkthrough, and if you still made it till the end, congratulations. This is my first video walkthrough review type of a deal, so hopefully it wasn't too painful for you to watch. Overall, this unit seems to work well. I have no issues with it. Hopefully, longevity-wise, it will last a long time, and then that's going to be great. That's the only thing I can ask for at this point. In terms of improvements, I don't have anything big, honestly. In terms of future revisions, maybe having a weather sensor or temperature sensor inside the console, in addition to having the remote sensor. So this way, if you want to monitor 2 locations, I think that would be a really cool feature to have a sensor in the console, and then you can have it in one room and then put the remote sensor somewhere else. I think that would be a great addition. Having the barometer information as relative data would be nice too. Right now it only reads as absolute. Not a big deal because I have the console. That's going to be another item. In terms of usability within the console, overall it's not bad. It's fairly simple setup, but it could be simplified even more, so to speak. There are many usability features that could be taken advantage of because there are several buttons, and even though there are several left and right arrows throughout the menu system, you can't utilize them, only going up and down. So that, along with several other usability options that could be taken advantage of, because this is a great display. It seems that it has some sort of an operating system, so I assume it must have a processor too, and based on that, they can make even better improvements to take advantage of those features. Also, for some individuals who do want the data and to play with the data, right now this specific model does not have the ability to connect it via USB, and that's because it is a Wi-Fi version. So again, no complaints from me, but for some individuals I think that may be an issue, and if this was Wi-Fi and had the ability for somebody to connect this unit via USB to get the data and utilize other programs such as Cumulus, I think that could be an added bonus. The alternative to that, if somebody really wants to do it with this unit, they can still do it by putting a micro SD card to the back of the console, and there is an option for it here, and then you can actually save the logs to that SD card. Now, that means each time you want to do an analysis, you'll have to do that, but at least that's an option. So maybe in the future versions, that is something to be considered. And the only other thing is that the mounting pole on the weather station, I do wish that it was just a tad bit longer. It's fine the way it is, and I'm using gear clamps, but if I were to be using the U-bolts, again, it's usable, but if it was just a little bit longer, I think utilizing them would make it just a bit easier for some of the people who will be actually utilizing those U-bolts. That's all I have. And again, hopefully you enjoyed this walkthrough, and have a great day. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Howdy folks, this is the review and walkthrough of the Ambient Weather Observer Solar Powered Wireless Wi-Fi Weather Station. The model of this one is WS1000 Wi-Fi. And the purpose of this weather station, unlike the one that I have now, is that it will actually automatically, via Wi-Fi, supposed to go ahead and transmit the data to Weather Underground, and then you can get your weather data remotely. Currently I have the WS2090 version of the Ambient Weather Station, and the problem with this one, even though it works great, is that my computer has to be on 24/7 in order to transmit the data from the console, which is again connected 24/7 to the computer, and the computer is on 24/7 and transmits the data to Weather Underground. So hopefully with the replacement unit that I have, I should be able to avoid from keeping my computer on and just have the data available in the console and then transmit the data via Wi-Fi. Alright, let's take a look and see what's included here in the box. Alright, so in this unit what we have here is the display console. We will also have the hydrometer barometer transmitter, which is this unit. We will have the mounting bracket, in this case it's already attached. And we will have, of course, the sensor array. We'll have the wind vane, which I assume we'll have to attach here in just a second to the unit. And of course, we will also have, and I'm using the manual, so of course you guys will get the manual. But I'm using this right now in order to